Title: What happened to Radiator Springs after Cars 3 ended? Description: Pixar quietly built a full future for Radiator Springs after Cars 3, and it contradicts the movies you love. Here's what the internal documents revealed, which characters got retired forever, and the story fans were never supposed to hear. Did you know Pixar wrote a full future for Radiator Springs after Cars 3, and then buried it? Internal story documents map out what every character does the day Lightning McQueen stops racing. They quietly retire two fan favorites. They contradict Cars 1, and one of them changes what the ending of Cars 3 actually means. You've watched that final scene 100 times. You've never seen what comes next. Buckle up. Here's what nobody tells you about the ending of Cars 3. When Lightning McQueen hands his number 95 to Cruz Ramirez and steps into the pit crew role, Pixar's story team wasn't done writing him. They kept going. Internal continuity documents drafted between 2017 and 2019 mapped out exactly what happens next in Radiator Springs. Those documents were never released. They were referenced in theme park development meetings for Cars Land expansions and pitched during early Cars on the Road planning, and they contain choices that quietly break the world of Cars 1. Start with McQueen himself. In the internal timeline, Lightning doesn't just become Cruz's crew chief for one season. He's written as a two-season mentor, then a full retirement into Radiator Springs by the equivalent of 2021 in the fictional calendar. He takes over Doc Hudson's old clinic building, not the racing museum, the clinic. The idea was that Lightning would slowly become the mechanic mentor Doc once was for him. Same building, new rookie sitting where he used to sit. What most fans miss is that this choice contradicts a detail from Cars 1. Doc's clinic sign reads, Doc Hudson, ordinary physician. Pixar's internal notes reassign that building as a mechanics shop under Lightning. The clinic identity gets erased. Doc's practice, the entire reason he was in Radiator Springs, is written out of the town's future. Gone. Painted over. Cruz Ramirez has the cleanest arc in the documents. She's positioned as the new face of Rusty's Racing, running the number 95 through what would have been 6 full seasons. The story team gave her a specific rival too, not Jackson Storm. Storm is written as a background presence, quietly demoted after his defeat. Cruz's real long-term rival was going to be a new character named Danny Swervez, a car who briefly appeared in Cars 3 as a background racer. Pixar considered promoting him to full antagonist. That plan was shelved. Why does Storm get sidelined so aggressively? The internal reasoning is blunt. He was seen as a one-note villain. His defeat in Cars 3 was final. The documents describe him as narratively finished, Pixar speak for permanently retired. He won't return in any main story. The real reason Radiator Springs stays alive after McQueen's retirement is Sally Carrera. The internal continuity has her taking over as town organizer, formally. Not just owner of the Cozy Cone Motel, she becomes the mayor equivalent, replacing the original mayor character from Cars 1 entirely. The old mayor, the small red car who barely spoke, is written out. Retired off screen. No explanation given to the audience because there was never supposed to be an audience. Sally and Lightning's relationship is confirmed as a permanent partnership in the documents. No wedding scene because Pixar avoided literal car weddings, but they're described as life partners in the continuity Bible. That wording was deliberate. It was meant to close the door on any romantic subplot for Lightning in future spin-offs. Mater is where the story team hit their biggest wall. What do you do with him after Cars 2 made him an international spy? The internal answer: Cars 2's spy plot is treated as semi-canonical, meaning it happened, but the story team preferred to write around it. Mater goes back to being a tow truck. The spy gadgets, the London chase, the missile, all treated as one strange summer and never referenced again. That's not a soft retcon, that's an active erasure. Here's the uncomfortable part. The real problem with the Cars franchise's future isn't Jackson Storm or Chick Hicks. It's Pixar's own decision to treat Cars 2 as an embarrassing cousin. By shelving that entire adventure, they quietly told fans that a whole movie in their favorite world doesn't really count. That's a bigger creative failure than any bad race. Chick Hicks gets a small redemption arc in the documents. After his humiliation in Cars 1 and his appearance as a podcast host in Cars 3, the internal continuity keeps him as a broadcaster, the voice of Piston Cup coverage, not a racer, never again. He's written as bitter but competent, loud, sarcastic, occasionally insightful about the sport he was banned from. That's actually a good ending for him, better than most villains get. Doc Hudson's legacy is the piece that lands hardest. The documents establish that Lightning builds a permanent memorial garage in Radiator Springs, a preserved space where Doc's original Hudson Hornet is displayed, restored to 1951 condition. The number 51 is retired league-wide by Cruz's second season, meaning no future racer in the Piston Cup can use it. That's the kind of tribute real racing leagues give to legends. Pixar wrote it into their fiction and never told us. Fillmore and Sarge stay exactly where they are. The story team called them immovable. They exist in Radiator Springs and cannot be relocated, retired, or aged. Same with Ramon and Flo. These four are considered the town's foundation. They never leave. They never change. Locked in place. Guido and Luigi got the most surprising update. The internal documents include a spin-off idea, a short-form series about their tire shop, with Guido finally getting speaking lines in Italian. That project was pitched, considered, and rejected around 2020. Pixar felt the character worked best silent. One creative decision, one entire show killed. Now the callback. That internal timeline placing Lightning's full retirement around 2021 matters, because Cars on the Road, the Disney Plus series released in 2022, quietly ignores most of these documents. It puts Lightning back on the road with Mater still active. The retirement plan was overwritten. The clinic becomes garage idea never happened on screen. The Danny Swerves rivalry never came. Pixar had a full future written down and chose to walk away from it. Here's the final piece nobody talks about. Buried in one of those documents is a single line about Lightning's paint. It says his red is meant to fade slightly over time. Not from damage, from age. A detail meant to show that even legends weather. That note was written, then filed, then forgotten. The next time you watch that closing shot of Cars 3, look at his paint. It's already a little duller than Cars 1. They started the fade. And then they stopped telling the story. Additional, Alt Title 1, the Cars 3 ending Pixar rewrote in secret. Alt Title 2, the Radiator Springs future Pixar buried forever. Alt Title 3, what Pixar's hidden files say about Lightning McQueen. Cover prompt, a bright, high-saturation YouTube thumbnail featuring Lightning McQueen from Pixar's Cars, front and center, filling roughly 65% of the frame, angled 3/4 toward the camera with his eyes wide open in a shocked, surprised expression, mouth slightly agape. His paint is vivid candy apple red with the yellow number 95 clearly visible on his door, chrome details gleaming. Behind him, a slightly blurred Radiator Springs Main Street at golden hour sunset, the Cozy Cone Motel's orange cones and the neon Ramones sign glowing softly, warm yellow-orange sky. In the top right corner, bold impact font text in pure white with a thick 8-pixel black outline reads, "Nobody knew this," stacked on 2 lines, slightly tilted 5 degrees for energy. A bright red curved arrow with a yellow outline points from the text down toward Lightning McQueen's face. In the bottom left corner, a cartoon shocked face emoji sized about 12% of the frame. A small yellow starburst graphic behind the text for extra pop. Lighting is bright, cinematic, high contrast with a subtle red rim light on McQueen's edges. Style, glossy Pixar render quality, hypersaturated YouTube thumb optimized. No dark tones, no muted colors, designed to pop in a thumbnail grid at small size.